listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Take Two Radio on Twitter at Take Two Radio and at Dawn Take Two Radio. You can also look us up on Facebook at Take Two Radio. Check out our website at taketworadio.com and follow us on Blog Talk so you can stay up to the minute of each episode as we add it. Each episode is always available for download immediately following each broadcast, and you can also download every podcast on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Take Two Radio. I'm Pam, your host, and tonight I have with me, of course, my co-host, Dawn. Hello, Dawn.
Hello, Pam. It's Saturday, finally.
Yeah, I know you're happy about that.
Yes, I am. It was a very long week at work. I'm very glad to have some time off.
That's good. Well, tonight I'm excited because, of course, we have an interview. And tonight we welcome Eileen Carey. She's a veteran actress with roles in Hoffa, Basic Instinct, and the original Batman movie, as well as an award-winning singer-songwriters. Welcome, Eileen Carey.
Hey, thanks for having me, girls.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. So, well, I guess we'll go right into, because we got the chit-chat over with the pre-show part. And I want to say congrats on winning 2 music awards for Americana Album of the Year in 2009 and Producer's Choice in 2010 for Dance Single of the Year.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Was it a surprise to you, or did you say, yeah, I deserve that?
Well, maybe a little bit of both. I mean, actually, it was more of a surprise. I didn't expect it, but it was really a great honor to be recognized for your music.
Most definitely. Since you're considered an indie artist, it's not often something like that will happen.
Yes. It's one. We don't get that many chances, choices or chances on winning awards. So,
right. Now, I know that these days, even though it's 2009, 2010 isn't that long ago, indie artists are becoming more recognizable, and by not just, labels and that, but by the fans and social media and TV and, radio shows and that. Do you feel that that's happening?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, the Internet has been such wonders for us indie artists. We can go anywhere. We can be heard in Japan, or we can be heard in New York. I mean, it's just amazing, what we can grab our hands to and be heard from. So it's pretty amazing. Amazing time for indie artists.
Yeah, thank God for technology, huh?
Yes. I'm glad somebody thought of it.
I know. It's amazing, what social media and it alone has been able to do for indie artists in recent, years. And the explosion of that, pretty much indie artists now have a better medium for getting their music out, unlike ever before. So that's a really good thing. What do you, as an indie artist, what is one of the, things that you enjoy doing most? Is it songwriting? Is it singing? Or is it performing?
Wow. I enjoy all of it, actually. I think the biggest part right now that I really enjoy doing, I really enjoy the writing, but I really love to be into the studio and preparing the song, working with co-writers and working with the producers and working with the musicians and forming that song, because each song has its own individual little style there going on and a little vision, and I really enjoy that. Then I also enjoy bringing it out to my fans and seeing, what kind of response I'm getting from them. So it's all fun. It's all great. Love it.
Well, if you didn't, you're in the wrong business.
Definitely.
Now, you recently just came out with Don't Get Me Wrong, which is a cover by The Pretenders, but all of your other musics are originals. Tell us when you knew you wanted to be in the entertainment business and your journey to get where you are today.
Well, I think it started when I was bugging my parents to get me some drums, and that's how it all started. And then I went into, when I was in school, then I did theater, and I did choir and all that stuff. But then after that, shortly, my father says I had to get into the business world, because you can't make any money in the music world.
Yeah.
And then I went into management in hotels, and then one day I was hiring entertainment, and I said, you know what, I have to be in the entertainment business, and I quit the corporation, and I started into my music and theater and writing and working in film and stuff. So I guess it kind of all went together somehow. I started with music, and then my father forced me in business because I had to have both. You know, in this world you got to have it, and it worked somehow. At the time I didn't think it was very nice, but it did work. It worked quite a bit right now. So that's basically where I kind of started the whole career business.
Well, you know, that is quite a story, and I'm glad that you realized that your passion was in your music, and that you did not want to, you know, work in the corporate sector for the rest of your life, because having heard your song, especially the remake of, you know, The Pretenders, Don't Get Me Wrong, I was so impressed. I was like, you know, why hasn't someone done this before? Oh, I know, because they were waiting for you to do it. I've never heard a country remake on that song, but I must tell you that was brilliant. How did you go about picking that particular song to do?
Well, there was another cover tune, which I can't tell you what it is, but we started off to do, and because it's going to be on the album too. We kind of built around that style. And I don't know, my producer always walked in one day and goes, you know, I heard that song, you know, They Don't Get Me Wrong by the Pretenders. It was on the radio. I think you should cut it. And I said, I don't know, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, I said, well, maybe you're right. And then you know, the band came in, you know, from Nashville, and they played the track. And I said, wow, this is going to be pretty cool. And so that's how it kind of started. We started with another cover tune, and then somehow he heard it on the radio, and then it went from there. So you never know how one thing is going to lead to another.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dawn. I thought you had a question. Okay.
Oh, no, I thought you did. That's why I waited.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sometimes this happens.
That's true. Sorry about that. But, yeah, I really love how you did that. Now, when you got into the studio to do that, did you set out to try to kind of put your own you know, spin on the song, you know, make it your own versus, you know, because it sounds reminiscent, but yet, it, you know, it definitely has a little bit of a different flair. So I really like how you did that. But was that something that just kind of happened, or was that something that you intended to do?
Well, I never wanted to tend to sound exactly like we both come from the same from Ohio. You know, we have that accent, and we have the tones in our voice pretty much similar. And I was always weary about doing cover tunes by them because I was afraid I was too close to her vocals. But the more I worked with it, and the band came in and they produced the track, and then I started singing to it, somehow my style mixed up with her style, and it just kind of worked. And then, you know, we listened to it. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't too close to her, you know, what she was doing. So for some reason I kind of worked what she did, and then just kind of threw my style on it, and it kind of mixed it up, and it just kind of fell into place.
That's really cool. Now, as far as, you know, your musical talent in terms of your singing, now you said you wanted a set of drums when you were young, and that's kind of how you got bit by the whole musical bug. But as you've you know, transitioned into your career, do you play any instruments? Do you play a variety of instruments?
I play piano. I did with drums, and then I started with piano to write the melodies and stuff like that. I just do that. My band wouldn't hire me. I haven't really pursued the time you're supposed to do with music instruments and really practice. So, you know, I put it all in the vocals and the writing, and that's why I have some great musicians, thank God, that can guide me in the right direction. So, yes, piano just for melodies and kind of writing songs, but nothing to go any further than that at this point.
Well, hey, whatever, you know, it's an asset to your musical writing, so that's a plus, you know, and that's really cool. Now, in terms of your writing style, how do you go about that? Is that something that you just kind of get something, you wake up and you've got a tune in your head, or you running about your day, does it kind of come to you that way? Or do you just kind of go into the studio and you say, okay, I'm going to write a song? How does it work for you?
And at Los Angeles, we drive a lot,
Yeah.
So a lot of my ideas really come from, I just be in the car and I see something, happening on the street, or I hear something on the radio, or I just listen to a conversation and I kind of get something from there. Then I go home and kind of put it all together, write it down, and then I find a co-writer to write with me on a particular song, and then we go from there. I'm not a person that can sit in a room alone and write. I like to bring lots of people in onto the project, because the creative juices start flowing, and the more the merrier to put the song to where it's supposed to be going.
Now, do you typically, create the melody for the song and the audio, and then come back and lay down the vocal tracks, or how does it all get put together for you?
Well, usually I have the idea in my head. I write all the lyrics down, some type of a story form, how it's going to be, and then I decide what kind of style it's going to be. Is it going to be more rock, more country, more whatever? And then I find out of my list which co-writer I'm going to work with, and I have part of the melody sometimes, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just come in with the lyric and then have the co-writer write the melody down. And then we go into the studio, and then I would lay a track down of the style that we decide to pick for the song. It's pretty interesting. Sometimes I just do the lyrics, and then somebody else does the melody. But I give enough information so they know which direction to go.
Well,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, it's always been interesting to me to hear, songwriters describe their style, because to me, it's almost like putting together a puzzle. You've got your musical piece, and then you got your lyrical piece, and somehow it just kind of all fits, and then it just, this beautiful, incredible song comes out of it.
I know,
and it is an artistry all in itself, songwriting. The singing aside, I mean, the songwriting is so in depth and so detailed. And do you tend to be a perfectionist when you're songwriting? Do you have to redo it over and over again? I know I'm that way with certain things.
She is, believe me.
Yeah. So am I. Sometimes, I have to stop myself because I'm trying to I always sometimes get stuck on a word or something. I'm trying to find the most perfect word to go there. And sometimes it's just something really simple. So I have to watch myself. I get too all involved. I have to back away sometimes. That's why I like working with other people. Otherwise, I'd probably be stuck in a room all by myself trying to figure out how to finish a song.
People would have to start looking for you and get where'd she go? She went to write a song. She's been gone for months.
Years.
Now, January for us, we have a theme, Women's Empowerment Month, and I know that a lot of your songs offer a prominent message about personal empowerment and emotional fulfillment, which is something that we strongly support for women. Tell us what you feel is so important for women these days to empower themselves with and to stand on their own as individuals.
Wow. I think it's really important that it's really hard in this society with girls. I have two daughters, and with girls growing up in this society now, it's a little different than I was growing up. And it seems to me that, it's a really hard question, which direction to go. Confidence is the most important thing they need, They need to stand on their own two feet and be their own person and really work with their own individual self instead of, dragging, worrying what other friends are doing or boyfriends and all that kind of stuff.